How do you know when your sourdough starter is ready for baking? As you can see here, I've got a number of sourdough starters and I'm going to go through these with you and show you how I know that they're ready for baking. If you're new here, I'm Charlotte and I run British Sourdough and I teach people how to make sourdough at home in the easiest way possible. Give me a follow, stick around and you'll find tutorials, PDFs and loads more information for you to be able to do it at home yourself too. Let's start with my white sourdough starter. This is Spotty Lottie and this is made using a strong white bread flour. She is my favourite and she is the one that gives me such good results. I do also have Betty, which is my gluten-free sourdough starter, and you can see Betty bubbling away there nicely. I also have Wheatus, which is my whole wheat starter, and again bubbling away really nicely. Then we also have Olive, which is our organic white sourdough starter. Again, lots of lovely bubbles in there. But what I'm going to show you is Spotty Lottie, and I'm going to show you a Spotty Lottie and my discard jar, because ultimately these are both the exact same starter. This one is ready for baking, this one is not, and I'm going to show you the difference between them. So I fed Spotty Lottie, and when I fed her, she was probably about here. I reckon, I didn't mark the jar, but I reckon it was about here somewhere. So as you can see, we've somewhat tripled in size. Now, she was a little bit taller and you can almost see a bit of a tide line where it was actually a little bit, she was actually a little bit higher earlier on today. So I'm going to show you the difference between the two, because of course lots of people do say to me, my starter doesn't stay bubbly for very long, is that right? My starter only bubbles once per day. They're all perfectly normal, they absolutely are. So what happens with a sourdough starter is you feed it and it has no bubbles whatsoever. You feed it and it's like a thick paste, and then it slowly starts to rise, and as it rises the bubbles increase, and then when it gets to its highest point, which is what we call peak, that's when your starter is ready for baking. But of course, if you think it's got to peak, but it might actually carry on growing, what we do is we want to wait until it starts to fall just a little bit, because we don't want to use it before it's got to peak in case it hasn't actually got to peak. So you want to use it a little bit after as well. And that time when it gets to peak and then starts falling is multiple hours. Okay, so it's not like you have to catch it within like a 10-minute window or something. But what we don't want to do is wait until it's got to its lowest point. So you want to kind of catch it in that top end from where it's peaked and then started to fall, but not too much, because of course as it started to fall and then it becomes hungry again and sort of falls back down the jar. So I feed it to here, then it doubles or triples in size, then it slowly starts to fall back down again, and when it gets back down to here again, then I need to feed it up. Now of course I've got quite a lot of starter there. That's because I'm going to be making up orders, and I'm also going to be doing some baking with it as well. So of course, don't judge your starter by mine, judge it by yours, and only make enough for whatever it is you want to do, whether that's a maintenance feed or a baking feed. So of course I've got two different starters here. So let's take a look at this one. This is a beautifully active Spotty Lottie. Now if I show you the inside there, can you just see how sort of sticky and bubbly and just how active that. Now if I stir her, she will actually fall, but she will also return back to where she was before she starts to fall again. So stirring your starter can actually be really good for it. You will notice an incredibly sticky, buoyant, full of bubbles starter, and it's almost like it's breathing. It's very strange, but you can see in there all the different bubbles and it's moving around and it's very sticky. I do keep my starter in this jar when it's discard, and I will show you the difference between the two, and hopefully it'll help you understand the difference between those, because your starter being at active and at discard are the same thing, and I can take this discard and turn it straight back into this if I want to, but if I leave this one unfed it will then turn into this one. So you can switch back between the two as much as you like. So this one here, as you can see, is, can you just see even from the jar itself there, this one is not sticky, it is just runny. Now if I stick my nose in here, that is strong. We've got the hooch on the top there, just basically smells like alcohol. It's so strong because this is discard. This is not ready for baking. You can do other baking with it, things like the discard sandwich loaf, pancakes, and all sorts of other beautiful things. But what you're not going to do is get the same rise like you do with the active sourdough starter. So as you can see, it is just super runny, it's falling off the spoon. Whereas if I go back in and show you the difference between the consistency, if I do that with this one now, it's completely different, almost like wobbles like jelly. It's very strange. This starter here would be absolutely perfect for making a loaf of sourdough bread now, and this one here would just be perfect for maybe making up pancakes or other things, and that's where I put all of my discard in here so that we can use it for other recipes. But I hope that helps, and that you understand that your sourdough starter does change over a 24-hour period as well. So if you do have any questions about your starter, do pop them in the comments and we'll see if we can help you.